I never thought that I would have a family member ever like commit suicide or be going through some trauma or discomfort in their life that sort of like disguised it up to a moment of where they actually like consider just leaving and can't cope with it no more. My brother, we was only like 3 years apart, and we both had the same life in growing up as being young and our points of view about life, and sort of it's made us like sort of always been on a strong point that we keep our minds and like focus and strong on the objective of moving through life and knowing that we're always going to have like ups and downs. Nothing's going to be as smooth as you want it, but to be focused and to be strong in our minds, that was like one of the sayings with like when we were growing up as being young. We see like we've witnessed like 2 seconds like before somebody has taken their life, jumped off a building, wanted to end it, and then it came to one of our like sort of friends that we sort of knew, that happened as well. And obviously it's been discussed like amongst us and that, and to us it's like to be in a fight, it just seems like too much of an easy way to do it. And I would never have thought that my brother would even contemplate and even like to do that or to suffer with it in that terms and not like disclose it. I was at work and I received a call from my mum. I don't know, I always have like a sort of uncomfort feeling. Sometimes when she calls me, it's always like or something would happen or something must have happened. And her pitch and her voice, it was just, I knew that something was wrong. And then she was just like, oh, my brother, your brother, he's very in a bad way. He's in hospital, in intensive care. And then I'm like, what, man, what's happened? And then I've got all different scenarios running through my head of thinking like has somebody like harmed him? Like who's done what? How did he end up there? Didn't even think that would be one of the issues of him taking his life. My mum said that she's had a call from a chaplain, said that your son's in hospital, he's tried to commit suicide, he's in a bad way, tried to strangle himself. And yeah, that was it. But just like living in the thoughts of just going through or thinking like flashbacks of like the last time I spoke to him, how his voice was, being bubbly. It's just hard to put it together with it without actually seeing something that relates to it as physical. It's now I can't like accept it in that way, and then not as guilty, but to think to myself like, oh, was there anything that I could have done to prevent it, or like what was it? But the only thing is that I know that we are, as a family, strong and always supported him and been around. So it's just where it did happen, out of our control of being able to call him anytime or see him that morning with him being in our environment where he was inside in prison. It was just hard to start jogging our memory back of when was the last time we saw him or spoke to him and what was his mood or thought. There's been a lot of like days where I will go into a daydream, just sort of like try and put myself like in his position to think that if I was struggling with that, who would be my point of contact? And truly, myself, I would want to reach out to my family or even my kids. He's got 2 daughters, which he loves, and this all happened within about 4 to 5 weeks, which was like, to me, like a massive plunge. And the only of like just being like a bit normal, that is like must have been like a time bomb, like to waiting to go off. But the appreciation of it within 4 to 5 weeks, I can't come to terms with that. It will go that dramatic and like crushing down to it, to where he tried to take his own life 3 times, and on the 3rd time, that's the one that put him critical ill in hospital, where my mum got a call from it. Just like the awareness of it, of somebody going through that or even wanting to do that, our families like we should have been informed straight away. And now we're carrying a burden that we could have prevented it from happening if we would have got in contact with him. The thing that's eats me up is that he's got 2 little girls and they're going to be asking questions all the time. How did my dad end up there? Why would he do that? Didn't he love us? Why would he not want to be here for us? I don't know how any family can like go through it. And these are going to be questions that I can't just wrap it up and put it in a box and forget about it. My brother suffered from mental health. He ended up taking his life in the prison system. These are going to be questions where if I put it in a box and wrap it up, his daughters are going to want to undo the box and want to find out. I'll have to try and be strong enough for his daughters, and then helping other families or anybody else to prevent it from happening to them would be a good way for me to cope with it, to put something back out there in the community, into the justice system, just to make it work on both sides of the parties. Life is precious.